What if I told you that becoming a millionaire has almost nothing to do with how much money you make? You probably know someone who earns six figures and is still broke by the 25th of every month. And you probably know someone else, maybe quieter, maybe driving an older car, who makes half that income and is sitting on a seven-figure net worth without anyone suspecting it. The difference isn't luck. It isn't a secret stock tip. It isn't even income. It's a handful of boring, unglamorous habits that nobody talks about on social media, because they don't make for exciting content. There's no dopamine hit in, "I automated my savings transfer." But these quiet habits are the actual difference between people who build wealth and people who just look wealthy. Today, we're breaking down 5 of them, one at a time, so you can actually start using them. Habit number 1, millionaires track every dollar, but not in the way you'd imagine. Most people picture the wealthy obsessing over spreadsheets, cutting coupons, denying themselves every small pleasure. That's not what's actually happening. The real habit is something behavioral economists call values-based spending. Here's how it works. A self-made millionaire might spend without hesitation on 3 or 4 things that genuinely matter to them, maybe travel, maybe a nice home gym, maybe great coffee every single morning. But everything outside that short list gets cut without a second thought. No guilt, no negotiation. Compare that to how most people spend. The average person spends small, mindless amounts across 20 different categories: a forgotten streaming subscription here, a food delivery fee there, an impulse buy because an ad caught them at the wrong moment. None of it feels significant in isolation. But added up, it quietly drains hundreds of dollars a month. And here's the cruel irony, because that money is scattered everywhere, when people try to cut back, they end up cutting the 1 or 2 things they actually love, and they feel deprived. The habit isn't restriction. It's clarity. Millionaires know exactly where they're allowed to spend freely, and that clarity is what lets them cut everything else without feeling like they're sacrificing anything. Habit number 2, a mandatory delay before any non-essential purchase. This isn't about willpower, and that's the important part. Wealthy people don't trust willpower any more than you do. They just build systems so willpower is never required in the first place. The rule is simple: anything above a certain dollar amount triggers a built-in pause. 24 hours for a smaller purchase, a full week for something bigger. This isn't indecision. It's based on something real in brain chemistry. The dopamine spike from, "I want this," peaks almost instantly and then fades. What feels like an urgent need at 9 p.m., scrolling on your phone, often looks like a forgettable want by the next morning. Think about your own closet right now. Somewhere in there is a purchase you made on impulse that you haven't touched in months. That's the exact gap this single habit closes. It doesn't require more self-control, it just requires letting time do the work that willpower usually fails at. Habit number 3, and this might be the single most important one on this list: millionaires pay themselves first, automatically, before they ever see the money sitting in their account. Most people do the opposite, they save whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month. The problem is, there's almost never anything left over. Not because of income level, but because of something psychologists call mental accounting. The moment money lands in your checking account, your brain quietly labels it available. And money labeled available gets spent, slowly, a little at a time, until it's gone. Wealthy savers remove that decision entirely. The instant income arrives, a fixed percentage moves automatically into savings or investments before it's ever visible as available money. It's not that these people have more discipline than you. They've simply engineered discipline out of the equation completely. The transfer happens whether they're motivated that day or not. Habit number 4 is a complete shift in scoreboard. Most people unconsciously measure financial success by what's visible: the car in the driveway, the apartment, the vacation photos. But the people who actually accumulate wealth, especially the quiet ones who never look rich, are tracking something invisible: net worth. Assets minus debts. A single number that nobody else can see. This distinction matters because of lifestyle inflation, arguably the biggest silent killer of wealth. Every raise, every bonus, gets absorbed into a slightly nicer car or a slightly bigger apartment, and the net worth number never actually moves, year after year. Meanwhile, the person who treats every raise as fuel for that invisible number, instead of fuel for a more impressive-looking life, is the one who's quietly compounding wealth while looking, on the surface, completely ordinary. The final habit is this: millionaires treat financial literacy as a skill to be practiced, the same way you practice a language or a sport, not as some talent you're either born with or not. They read one book on investing, then another. They ask questions that feel embarrassing instead of pretending to already know the answer. Over years, small, consistent learning compounds into genuinely sound decision-making, the same way small, consistent saving compounds into actual wealth. Most people avoid this because admitting, "I don't understand how a Roth IRA works," feels uncomfortable. But every person who eventually masters their finances started exactly there, at, "I don't know," and just kept showing up to learn a little more. None of these 5 habits require a 6-figure income. None of them require insider knowledge or a finance degree. What they require is a willingness to be a little less impressive on the outside, so you can be a lot more secure underneath. Pick just one: values-based spending, the 24-hour rule, automatic saving, tracking net worth instead of lifestyle, or treating financial literacy as a learnable skill, and start this week. Wealth isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in boring Tuesdays, one quiet decision at a time. If this gave you a new way to think about money, subscribe for more breakdowns on the psychology of wealth, and tell me in the comments which habit you're starting with first.